evening, sports fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the Emporia Sports Buzz.
Somebody told me this was the college edition.
And somebody told you right, Michael. This is Jesse Newell, Gazette sports reporter, joined alongside, as I always am, by Michael, the man, the myth, the legend, Ashford. Michael, say hi to everybody out there.
If you're an ESU student, it's back to school this week. I know you're probably pretty sad, but it's another semester. Hit the books.
Sad, Mike. I'd love to be back in college. Those were great days, right?
It's only a year and a half ago.
That seems like so much longer ago. Anyway, this is the Gazette Sports Buzz College Edition, where you turn to for all your ESU news, information, chatter, us just kind of gabbing at each other.
It's pretty much all it is.
It's entertaining sometimes, though. That's what my mom tells me. But anyway, let's talk to you about Emporia State basketball teams. That's what most people want to hear about right now. Let's talk about the women first, because I've heard this so many times. What's wrong with the Lady Hornets? What's wrong with the Lady Hornets? But the Lady Hornets fixed some things last Saturday against Pittsburgh State, winning 92-62. And Mike, all the pieces seem to fall in place for the Lady Hornets, especially when they kind of sped their game up and got things going offensively, got things going in transition, got easy buckets. This looks like a whole new team.
I like how you put it in your story after the game. You know, the solution for all the turnovers that the Lady Hornets have been having is just make all your baskets, and you're just going to simply outscore teams, and that seems like what the Lady Hornets did against Pittsburgh State. I mean, outscoring an MIAA team by 30 points, I don't care who it is a pretty big accomplishment.
Well, Pittsburgh State, really, they are a good team, and Lane Lord, in his first year there, brought a couple players in that were D1 quality, and he brought them in first year, convinced them to come to Pittsburgh State, so they had some very good guards on that team, so don't kid yourself. Pittsburgh State was a good team coming in. Emporia State is just a different team when they push the tempo. We saw it a little bit with the press, and that's kind of what ours, maybe a little bit of solution was for them, is maybe pick up the pace a little bit, get the press going, get things going a little bit quicker. Well, Brandon Schneider did it by saying push, push, push every time that any Hornet guard got the ball in their hands. So the Lady Hornets pushed the ball, they picked up the tempo, they got easy baskets on the other end, and that automatically made them a 200% better team. We'll see if they kind of keep that up, because that really put them from a good scoring team into a team that is going to be difficult for any team to beat.
And yet another milestone reached for Michelle Stevie. Scores 19 points, goes above that 2,000 point barrier or milestone in her career. Only the second Lady Hornet ever to do that. So you knew she was up there with the elite. The stats are just kind of a footnote here, because obviously Michelle is one of the better players ever in the MIAA.
And she's going to make a run at that scoring mark by Carolina. She's got 2,370 some in there, but with enough games, Michelle Stevie could make a run at that. But she didn't have to force her shots, and that's the big key for Emporia State. She was not relied upon to score. Actually, she got 2 fouls early in the first half, was taken out. Emporia State went on a run. So right now, the Andrea Likers, the Ida Edwards, Lacey Corkers, Bree Kisners, they're all really stepping up, taking some of that load offensively. Emporia State looks like a different team when they can get a lot of scoring, balanced scoring, and don't have to rely on the Michelle Stevies and Cassandra Bostons to pick them up and carry them wherever they need to go.
Absolutely, and that's kind of been the biggest thing right now, especially against Washburn. It never seemed like, last week against Washburn on Wednesday, it never seemed like anybody else but Michelle and Cassandra and Ida Edwards were really going to attack Washburn, and it goes back to the turnovers things too. That's another reason why the Lady Hornets lost, but it just seemed like maybe there was a different attitude to this Lady Hornets team on Saturday against Pitt State.
Well, when Brandon Snyder's yelling at me, I'm going to listen to him. So if he yells at me to push, 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 I'm going to push the ball, and I think the Lacey Corker and Cassandra Boston both did the same. So let's turn it over to the men's side. The men thought they had a lot of things fixed when they beat Washburn. Turned out not the case on Saturday against Pittsburgh State. Emporia State loses by 9. They get in a huge first half hole. And right now, Mike, it's hard to say that the 6-6 team was overconfident coming in, but I think the Hornets thought they'd fixed all their problems with a win against Washburn. It wasn't the case.
Well, and let's not joke, the win against Washburn was quite phenomenal, actually, how they started that game in that first half and how they just blitzed the Ichabods in the first part of that game. I believe got up 11-0 and just rolled from there. I mean, it looked like a completely different team out on the court. The same team that you saw start 16-0 last year. That's what it looked like. And I think you're right. I think the Hornets started to believe all the talk that, hey, we've got a lot of this fixed. We're where we need to be right now. And maybe didn't bring that same intensity, that same emotion, that same fire that they brought against Washburn and Pittsburgh State. Pittsburgh State's a good team. They're ranked. They've got excellent players. Who is it? Corey Abercrombie. I mean, he's phenomenal. He played against K-State this year, and I thought he was one of the better players on the court that day. And Pittsburgh State made the Hornets pay for not bringing the same intensity that they brought against Washburn.
Right now, the Hornets are, let's not kid ourselves, let's not mince words. The Hornets are in a dogfight the rest of the year. They're 6-7 right now. They had hopes of going against the NCAA tournament. Right now, they're battling for the MIAA tournament. You got to finish with the top 8. They're not in the top. They're dead last in the MIAA, so they've got to get some things fixed here quickly to even make the MIAA tournament and give themselves a chance to win that and go to the NCAA tournament. So they got to get on a roll down the stretch, but there's a lot of things to fix here, Mike, especially defensively. They're not really doing what they need to do, and offensively, they're just inconsistent right now. Last year's team was consistent. They scored a lot of points. They got run up and down on people. This year's offense, it's not there all the time when it needs to be. They got to get it fixed quick.
Which is strange because the Hornets actually lead the MIAA in scoring. It's just it seems like the defense is mainly the area, because even when Washburn was down all those big points, they were still making a lot of shots. It was just that ESU was making a whole lot more. I mean, every time I looked up in that game, somebody was making a shot. A lot of times it was Emporia State, but Washburn was still making a lot of shots and actually came back and tied that game up and took a lead, I believe, in the final few minutes there. Defensively, the Hornets need to get something figured out, and I think Coach Mo talked about just getting back to a little bit more simple way of playing, and I think that might help because right now defense is where it's at.
Let me make a prediction. The Hornets, as long as Coach Mo is there, will lead the league in scoring from now until eternity. Let's just make that right there. The way they play, the way their offense goes, they're going to lead the league in scoring. It's always going to be how many points they give up and how well they can stop the other team. They're undersized to begin with, and when a team like Pittsburgh State comes in, it's going to get almost every loose ball rebound and every rebound over the top of you. They've got to play almost flawless defensively and offensively to overcome a size differential like that. They didn't do it. Emporia State, again, is in a hole 1-3 in MIAA play, 6-7 overall. They're dead last in the standings. They got to get things going pretty quickly. Real quick, Mike, do you have any one-line thing to say about K-State beating Oklahoma? Are you happy?
Michael Beasley's good. What can you say?
And the sun came up this morning. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the breaking news. We appreciate that. KU stays on a roll. I don't even have to talk about that, Mike. Everybody knows KU
stays on a roll. The sun came up in the morning.
Well, there we go. Now. Well, we're both Captain Obvious today. What's the difference?
Not much.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. This is Jesse Newell, Gazette sports reporter, saying that we're out of time. Also, for Michael, the man, the myth, the legend, Ashford, that's what we call him. We're going to sign off with the Emporia Sports Buzz, but before we go, Mike, we need some advice for all those college kids out there.
Like I said, you're going back to school this week, buy your books online. It's a cheaper way to go.
Much cheaper, and I hope the bookstore doesn't ever sponsor us.
I think that's all we got for this week.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.